with that being said, there was recently an effort, an initiative, if you will, by the group ADDI to gain some of their members to gain citizenship in Burkina Faso, and there was a hiccup in that process. The government of Burkina Faso wanted to look further into it and to set up stipulations and guidelines for a proper process, and that had not taken place, and so they thus took a step back from that. So I'm going to bring our sister on, and she's going to give us more details about that situation. Sister Najai, let me know when you are ready and available, because we are ready for you to make your appearance. I see her in the studio, but I don't think she's ready yet. Sister Najai, are you ready? Hey, sister, don't leave me with dead air here, looking crazy. You know. But let me just say this. Speaking about possible citizens, possible repatriation and citizenship. I'll just say this for anyone that's trying to go back to the continent. Because I know someone recently repatriated to Tanzania, and maybe I'll have that sister on. Do you research before you go? Okay, so I think the sister is ready. So, Sister Najai, you can bring yourself on to. I'm gonna add you onto the stage.
Mambo.
Jumbo, how are you, sister?
Nzuri sana na wewe.
So she's gonna give us a Swahili class of her appearance today.
I'm well, and you?
I am putting one foot in front of the other. That's what I'm doing.
Me too.
Let me turn the music down. Y'all let me know. Can y'all hear the sister, or do I need to turn the music down?
Probably need to turn it down a little bit. Can't go
Peace and black power to BRN. Good to see you. What'd you say, sister?
I was saying probably need to turn it down a little bit. Nothing wrong with turning it down a little bit.
Okay. All right. Give me a second. I'm gonna turn it down. I'm gonna turn you up in my ear, and I'm gonna turn the music down on their end. Actually, it is kind of low already. Maybe I just pause the music like I do on SPL. All right, there we go. All right, so you were the one that informed me of the situation with ADDI. So you said that you saw Brother Obadele Cambone speak on it. Give us the information that you have, and I'll just listen now, interject as needed.
Sure. So earlier this year, there was a lot of viral social media activities saying basically Burkina Faso, specifically Ibrahim Traore is welcoming African Americans to the developing nation of the AES. And like I said, it was viral, and so a lot of people were really interested in asking questions and following along. And it seemed that the only thing you really needed to do was become a member of the ADDI and pay the fees associated with it, get yourself on the flight to Burkina Faso for October 26th, and on that trip you would be meeting with the president directly and, meeting with the ministries, the appropriate ministries. And at the end of the trip, provided everything went well, you would receive full citizenship from Burkina Faso, which at this point in time, with everything going on in the United Snakes, it seemed like the perfect deal. To be able to gain citizenship in a sovereign nation is exactly what a lot of our people are looking for. So, fast forward to.
Can I stop you right there, sister?
Oh, sure.
As a eternal pessimist, I ain't gonna lie. When you talk about too good to be true, yeah, that definitely sounded too good to be true. Like I would have
Well,
been if I had known that, I'd have been like, I need to do further research. Be like, no, man, I'm telling you, man, come on, Lord. I'd have been like, I'm not, I'm not poo pooing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But you need to see if it's really true in you. But nah, go ahead, sister.
well, in response to that, the reason it seemed like it had to hold weight is because the year prior they had already been successful in giving, I don't know exactly the number, but there was a group that went with ADDI last year and met with the president and had, wonderful talks and everything. And I'm saying president, but I think that I think it's general president or president general. I'm not sure specifically, but they met and gained their citizenship. And from what Mama Ari Kenna is saying, or Arikana is saying, is that because it was so successful last year, the invite was given directly from President General Ibrahim Traore. And so, I definitely hear what you're saying as far as it being like,
Oh, by the way, it's
why should we
Captain
believe that?
Captain Traore.
Captain. I thought it was general.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll take
yeah.
Captain.
No, he kept his captain salary and his captain title.
So it's Captain President or President Captain?
Most of the time, publicly, they say the president of the country, Captain Ibrahim Traore. So,
Captain. Okay. Yeah. So it seemed like it was all on the up and up, just going off of the facts of the matter. Now, I immediately, I'm not at all a pessimist. I'm an optimist. I always look for the silver lining and everything. And so, I was pretty much every step of the way listening into the calls and getting an understanding of the vibe of, what the situation really was. And yeah, it turned out that that is no longer what will be going down. The news came in the beginning of October, but the call that I listened in over the weekend with Chief Fode in Sierra Leone and Brother Cambone in Ghana, they said that the Parliament of Burkina Faso made the ruling last month, beginning of September, and essentially said, nah, we're not going to do that. Like we're not going to do all of that. Now, I don't think that they're saying they're not going to ever give African Americans or any other diasporan citizenship. I think what they're saying is right now, that is not our country's priority, which if you are fully Team One Africa, you can understand that this is a very volatile moment in the country and the AES and Africa's, story. So to kind of write yourself in as an individual from the diaspora that wants citizenship is kind of like you have to have, take it with like just kind of. I'm not sure. I understand. I understand feeling trapped here in the West. I understand feeling like the walls are closing in behind enemy lines. I understand not wanting to take another step, but at the same time, I have to look at the full vision of it. And I do believe that Parliament made the right decision for Burkina Faso. And so a lot of the calls have been trying to get us as Western American, well, not even just Americans, Western diasporans of the motherland, giving us the opportunity to see that Burkina Faso was not the only option that we have. We do, we have Sierra Leone as an option. You have Ancestry. Who else? Benin is an option. Ghana, of course, is an option. And honestly, we have a lot more options than that. It just, every country has their own rules and regulations, which is fair. Um, there's a lot of people that are hurt. I was not on the list, but I was certainly trying to be on the list. And to hear the news did kind of strike as like, dang, I guess that's no longer an option. But in hearing everything that was going on, I truly do believe that was the best case scenario. Now, from my understanding, there was 1,000 people on the list. So from the beginning of this year, them making the call to right now, there was 1,000 people that signed up, got their ticket, and they ready to, gain citizenship in Burkina Faso. Now, I think that's a beautiful thing because it shows how serious we as, you know, African Africans living in the Americas, not just the United States of America, but all throughout the entire Americas. It shows how serious we are about going back home. It shows the people of Burkina Faso that we are, sticking to the vision of one Africa. So it's a beautiful thing. And I do hope that it eventually leads to more positive relations between, all of us. But I think that for the number to be 1,000 and their vetting program to be somewhat non-existent is actually really scary. And I would not be surprised if that was the reason that we ultimately got denied, because ADDI.
Sister, let me interject right there. Nah, I didn't mean to cut you off in mid thought, but
You sure did.
in yeah, I know I did. I apologize. But the security, like a big part of sovereignty is security.
Mm-hmm.
And let's keep it 100 here. There are Negroes here who are poisonous here.
Mm-hmm.
What right the right honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said there's some Negroes. I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact quote, but he said in essence there's some Negroes who are no good here, and they will be just as no good in Africa. And just because they have the money to buy a plane ticket, and just because they can read the internet and sign up for something, does
Mm-hmm.
not mean that they should be on African soil amongst African people, because they're gonna bring with them the slave monsters mentality and some of the sick, wicked psychological diseases that we have with them. And so it is imperative that they do proper vetting and
Mm-hmm.
understand the type of psychological uh, um, problems that some of our people have, and how they would bring those and spread those amongst our people. Chief amongst them being homophilia and pedophilia. So that's all I wanted to interject. You can please continue, sister.
Oh, that's absolutely right. From what I saw, ADDI was asking for, the monetary, the membership aspect. They were asking for a background check, which is not a morality check. It does not vet you in your studies of Pan Africanism. A background check does not, like brother DC just said, like it doesn't check your principles. So the beginning of this year, Burkina Faso did not have the outright laws against homosexuality, and so everybody was, yeah, go sovereignty, yes. But then when they started standing their ground on perversions, a lot of people switched up. And I would not be surprised if of those 1,000 people, there was somebody on the list that was of the liberal standing of, oh, well, Burkina Faso is acting out of patriarchy for they'll never succeed because, like all of the negative things that they be saying
Hey,
about,
hey,
you know
sister.
what I'm saying?
Let's be honest. Out of those thousand, probably 333 were
Well,
Black Lives Matter.
exactly. Right, that specific number. 333 would be Black Lives Matter, and 33 of them would be specifically Jewish. And I mean that in every sense. DJEW. So yes, I personally am not upset at all by the decision. Now, just because they said you can't gain citizenship does not mean it's the end of the world. They're saying that the people that are on the list will gain permanent residency, which, I mean, to be honest with you, that's pretty cool too. To be able to stay as long as you want and to leave and come back and, not have to deal with the visa. And I'm sure it's going to give you privileges as far as, buying your home and starting businesses and all of that. So that's not a bad deal still. They just said as far as citizenship, let's hold on a second. And there was a great discussion over the weekend about citizenship and what that really means. We as Africans in America have not been citizens. And so why would we be ideal citizens in other countries? When I say we haven't been citizens, I mean that we pretty much have always been stepping against our government, rightfully so. We're being oppressed by our government. And so if you're a sane person, a sane human being, you're going to go against your oppressor. And that's not the natural order of things. You as a citizen, you should be going with your government, but that hasn't been our story. And so we kind of need to, we all need to be going through a process of healing and addressing our mental side, whether it be, the worst or the least of it. We all need to be addressing that. And citizenship is a privilege that ultimately should be earned. I know a lot of us kind of feel sick of that whole concept of, we're not citizens here and we can't find our home there. And it's like we always, we still in this fight. And unfortunately, we just are. We just are in this fight still. And so when I say earn citizenship, I mean go to the countries that you want to go to and be your best African self. Cultivate the relationships with people, create businesses, start families, do all of these wonderful things. And I promise you that citizenship is not going to be an issue because the people will be right there with you, holding it down for you. Now, there was a lot of people saying it on over this weekend, like, why do we need citizenship? Me personally, I feel like we do need to be working towards citizenship because I don't want to be extradited by the U.S. government when I go to other countries and continue to be my full revolutionary self. I don't want them to be like, oh, nah, we got to get her back over here so we can, jail her or whatever, whatever. And so, yes, I
And let me interject again.
sure.
Prime example of that, of not being extradited and being protected by the government. Our mama, Asada Shakur, spent the second half of her life,
Mm-hmm.
not even that far away, but far enough away to be able to live sovereign and at peace. And
Right.
so um, that lends credence to your view. So I just want to add that,
Right.
sister.
And
See,
it's not even about distance as far as Mama Asad Shakur being far away. It was about the government having sovereignty and having the backbone, being upright enough to say, leave her alone. And we are going to back that up. And I think that's why so many people are hurt specifically about Burkina Faso not being an option for citizenship because, we can go to some of these other African countries, but geopolitically, are they are the governments really going to have our backs like that when they don't really do right by their current citizens? These are all things that have to be considered. And so I'm overstanding of the hurt, the heartbreak that came along with the news. I agree with the ruling overall because I want what's best for one Africa. And if that means that I don't get the paperwork from Burkina Faso specifically, then that just is what it'll have to be until the time comes when we can go there and be protected. Because I think ultimately, like, I can, speaking for myself, but I know it's not just me, we're looking for protection. We're looking for the ability to, be our full African selves once more and not have to hide it from the powers that be around us. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else you want me to talk about?
No, sister, we appreciate that. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna play this Lost Tapes advertisement for those since we had some new people coming that not familiar with it. And then I'm gonna come back and cover a couple of cover the Niger angle and then close out. So thank you for giving us that information,
No
and
problem.
we're gonna
Oh,
send you out. Oh,
what
go ahead.
speaking on Niger, Burkina Faso is not the only country in the AES. Myself and brother DC were able to physically show up at all three countries' um, embassies
Embassies.
in Washington D.C. and the reception the reception was very good for Niger. It was very good for Mali, and I think that we should always be thinking about going back to build. I know there's a lot of people that are in there up in age, and so you really just kind of want to go back to chill and to just rest your bones in a way where you know that you're at peace on the motherland. And so that's completely overstood. And you
Well,
deserve
I'm
that.
gonna
You
say this.
deserve that.
I'm not that old.
I won't talk
I just
about
need like
you.
I said I just need maybe 2 months to recharge in the African sun. Then
No, that's
I'm
real.
ready to go.
That is so real. That is so real. And I think that, ultimately we will be working on those things, or I will be working on those things, keeping it on the low. But yes, we do need time to mentally gather ourselves from the generations of
Right.
trauma and chaos that we've been going through.
To take off the psychological chains and
Right, right, all
the
of that. But you would be
psychological
surprised.
scars.
You would be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't be, how quickly you can recover when you are in the right healing spaces. When you have the plethora of fresh foods and vegetables and just all the things that you need. You got the coconut water, you got the breeze from the ocean, and the this and the that. Like when you're in the right
Yeah.
environment, healing is not.
Unfortunately, if you in Bamako, there's no breeze off the ocean. It's
No,
just a
not a
desert
breeze off the
breeze.
ocean, but there is wind. Okay, there is certainly wind.
Yeah, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that desert breeze at nighttime.
But
So,
it's really not all that bad. Like speaking specifically on Burkina Faso,
oh no,
they have waters.
I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying you were mentioning like you talking about like
I'm speaking in general
in
about the
Tanzania.
yes.
Okay, okay,
Or
okay.
even
I'm just saying.
Ghana. Yes. I'm speaking in general when it comes to healing not having to be just because we went through 500 plus years of trauma doesn't mean that we need 500 plus years to heal, is what I'm saying. It really can be expedited when you're in the right environments. And so ultimately that was the point that I was trying to make, applying it specifically to, being in proper communities where people actually give a gosh darn about you. That's something that will heal you in a way that no medication could ever touch on. So yes, I just wanted to open up people's minds to, it doesn't have to be Burkina Faso. It can be Mali, it can be Niger, it could be Benin, it could be Sierra Leone, it could be Ghana, it could be anywhere really that you put your finger on the map, because ultimately this is our world. Katiopa means we are the center of the universe. Africa is the center of the universe, and we have the right to travel. I know that there's a lot of people telling you against that, and don't bring me up when you're talking to the police about it. I'm just saying that we do have the right to travel and be. That's all.
And it's just let me say this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that Agenda 2030 and the digital ID and all that stuff is coming down the pike real quick. So I'm gonna be honest. We probably don't have but maybe 4 years before you don't have the right to travel. So
Even when they take it away,
time is
I'm
to get your
telling
ducks in a
you,
row.
we doing
Oh
it.
no, I mean, look, let me tell you something. First of all, it ain't that far to get to Cuba. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can all make a raft and then,
We're going to.
take it from there.
Absolutely.
But I'm
I'm gonna
trying
come back for you. Notice I
I'm
said
trying
come
to
back
leave
because
before.
I'm already be
Yeah,
gone.
I know. But I know. But I'm trying to leave before I got to build a raft and all that stuff. I ain't trying to take it the
Facts.
hard way. I'm
Facts.
just trying to take a plane and oh my goodness,
No, I
I missed my flight back. What happened? Oh my goodness.
mean,
Not only did I miss it, I'm gonna miss it for the next 50 years. But
right. It's gonna be the mama environmental way. It's not the hard way. It's the way that we gotta keep doing it. We gotta keep coming back. We gotta keep trying to get as many people as we can up out of here. That's all in time though.
absolutely. All right, sister. Well, if you finish, I'll let you go. If you want to do the rest of the show, I'll get off and be on my way.
Well, I have to go
It's
get
up
some
to you.
coconut water, so I can't do that.
It's some coconut water that you're not gonna be able to share with me. Well, you enjoy anyway. You know, I'll bum some from you next time I see you. All right, so that's
I
our
hear
sister. That's our sister Najai. We're gonna, you know, send her off with some applause. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical, the numeral 1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cash App is $DC Radical 1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.